Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Live experience here on Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we've moved the show back to the Friday night where it originally was. I no longer have that event that I was attending or the venue to deal with there anymore, so I'm now able to go back to my Friday Night Live. And we'll be alternating this show with the Psychedelic Snack, which will come out next week. But for tonight, we're doing the Friday Night Live experience, and we're going to be doing this album, the Rolling Stones' Love You Live. This was one of probably the first half dozen live albums I had. I kind of got a special place for it. It's a bit raw. It's kind of noisy. It sounds almost like they're in a garage, so it's like a garagey type album. A lot of alterations to it, and this particular remake of the album has quite a few alterations to it, and even including the cover here, which was originally done by Andy Warhol, but has been since altered by Mick Jagger, so it apparently doesn't look much like what Andy had intended. So having said all that, I'll give you the vitals on the album now. So we have released September the 23rd, 1977. It's about 83 minutes in length on the Rolling Stones and Atlantic record label, and was produced by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Also, the release, the recording of this, so it says, was June the 17th, 1975 at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Then again on July the 9th, 1975 at Inglewood Forum in Los Angeles, California. Again on May the 27th, 1976 at Earl's Court in London, England. And then on March the 4th and 5th, 1977 at the El Macombo Tavern in Toronto. That El Macombo recording session is kind of famous here in Toronto, or in Toronto and Southern Ontario area, because that was the concert in which April Wine was to open for the Rolling Stones, but nobody knew it was the Rolling Stones. They went under the pseudonym of the Cockroaches. But April Wine also recorded a live album live at the El Macombo on those same sessions. So he got two albums on the same session by two different bands. Okay, so appearing on this album, of course, the Rolling Stones and their members. You got Mick Jagger on lead vocals, guitars, and harmonica, which he overdubbed on a song. Keith Richards on guitars, backing vocals, and does lead vocals on the song Happy. Ronnie Wood on guitars, backing vocals, bass on Fingerprint File, and Charlie Watts on the drums. I do believe that Bill Wyman was here, but he wasn't listed where I was looking, so he would have been the bass player here, I'm sure of it. Okay, so then you also have additional personnel, which is Ian Stewart on piano and organ, Billy Preston on piano, organ, clavinet, and backing vocals, and Ollie Brown on percussion as well as backing vocals. So, what is it I like about this album? Okay, have they done better live stuff? Probably, but this one I like because it's very kind of garagey sound. It sounds like they're a bunch of guys playing in a garage band here, at least on parts of it anyways. They do that kind of intro, which is an excerpt from the fanfare of the Common Man. They do that at the beginning to start the album out. Then they go right into Honky Tonk Woman, which is a classic kind of Rolling Stone song. It was one of my first songs I ever really liked by them. Then If You Can Rock Me and Get Off My Cloud in a combination, and then you do the Happy, which is sung by Keith Richards. Moving along to the second half of the first side, you got Hot Stuff, Star Star, Tumbling Dice, Fingerprint File, You Gotta Move, You Can't Always Get What You Want. So my understanding is that one side of the album was kind of what Keith Richards wanted, and the other side was kind of what Mick Jagger wanted, because they couldn't ever agree, so that's kind of the way they did it. I'm not quite sure which side is which, but I have a feeling the front side is Keith Richards. So the back side, or the second disc if you prefer, has Mannish Boy, Cracking Up, Little Red Rooster, Around and Around, It's Only Rock and Roll, but I like it. Brown Sugar, of course, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Sympathy for the Devil. The other thing about this album I like is a lot of the stuff that you normally wouldn't hear on a Stones album and their live stuff that's faded into the past. There are a lot of stuff on here like that, a lot of what I would call deep cuts. I mean, yeah, the best songs are still the last three, I think. Brown Sugar, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Sympathy for the Devil. Done really well here. Really crashing sound. I like that a lot. And this is in a time period where I'm quite familiar with the places they played and the sound of their music at the time, and this album did well on most charts. I think it was third on the US Top 200. I think it was actually third here in Canada, so it might have been fifth in the States, number 5. I'm not quite 100% sure. I don't have those stats in front of me. Did well though, certified gold and platinum in different places. So, kind of had a lot of that stuff that totaled up from their 1970s music, from their studio albums and stuff. So, really good stuff. If you like that kind of raunchy garage sound that sounds like it's alive, really alive, this is a good album for you. That's the thing about the Stones, unlike some bands like, say, Rush or even Yes, where when they do a song from one of their studio albums, it sounds almost like they're recording it in a studio. They match it almost perfectly. Where the Stones, not like that at all. It's a totally different ball game here. Anyways, I like this album a lot. If you haven't heard it, you can find it easily on YouTube, or you can probably find the disc around somewhere. I found it fairly easily. This one was a part of my last month's collection. So pretty solid album for a band that I've come to love quite a bit. And so if you like the Stones, I think you'll like this album a lot. Lots to offer here. Lots of really heavy guitar parts, and it's really a very different type of live experience. It's almost very live. You can actually tell, I can tell some of the songs on here where you can tell it's in a bar atmosphere. It sounds very different. And that, of course, would be the Alma Combo, which was a big place for a lot of bands in the 70s and 60s. So there you have it. The Rolling Stones, Love You Live, from 1977. I hope you like this. If you did, please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And we will be back next week with Brother Murphy and the Psychedelic Snack. So we will see you then. And then 2 weeks' time, we will be back with another Friday Night Live experience. Take care.